Hello everybody, this is Sajid and welcome to this video. In our last video, we talked about 4 different basic terms and they were industry, domain, functional area, and a certain job or a role. In this video, we are going to continue the same discussion and discuss the changes that can happen once you have understood those 4 terminologies or the key hierarchy. Smallest level of change that does not require much of an effort or a risk is the change within the same functional area, and this is what we consider a promotion. You are in a development team, you are working as a junior developer, and then you are promoted to be a developer. This is a change within the same functional area. You were doing development earlier and now you are continuing development. When I say you are continuing development, that means you got some additional responsibilities. For example, if you were a junior developer, you were probably not managing a team. On the contrary, the moment you become a senior developer, there is a possibility that you could be leading a team of junior developers. Then another level of change is the change among different functional areas. For example, you are in development today and then you feel that you are good at business analysis or system analysis and you move to business analysis team. It requires a bit of different skills, but it is still within the same domain. You are still talking about softwares. You are still talking about programming and requirements and all those things. This is another change which shows that you're good in your career and you are able to navigate into a certain domain and you can do multiple things within the same domain. Changes are definitely appreciated in the long run. Third level of change is the cross-domain change. That means you think of moving or you move from development team to sales team, for example. You are not going to do development anymore. Though you were also not doing development when you were a business analyst, but still you were into making softwares, right? Now you are going to do something different, which is selling those softwares, correct? Which requires a completely different skill set. I'm not saying it is not doable. Definitely it is doable. Cross-domain change is also a good indication, but it is already quite a big change. And be mindful that if you make these cross-domain changes over and over again, you are ultimately hurting your profile and career. Some might disagree with me, which is okay, but here we are talking about from the perspective of a career growth. If you have been hopping into different domains across certain industries or several industries or even within same industry, it raises a question on your key skills. You might not be known as an expert because of course to be known as an expert, you need to spend a reasonable amount of time into certain domain. And the last and the biggest change I would say is the change which is cross industries. Today you work for a telecommunication company and tomorrow you decide to work for a pharmaceutical. So this is an industry level change. When I say an industry level change may or may not include the change at the domain and the functional level. To simplify, for example, you are working for a telecommunication company as a developer. Then you say, I want to work for a pharmaceutical company, but still as a developer. You did not change your functional area, however, you changed your industry. This is quite reasonable because you just need to learn that certain industry. For example, if you're moving from telecommunication to pharmaceutical, this is an industry change. And then you say that here I'm doing the development or I'm in a part of IT team, but over there I want to be part of sales. This is already an industry change and a domain change, and it is a big change and it can be risky down the line. Unless you say that you want to do that thing for a reasonable amount of time. Understanding the consequences of these changes is also equally important. And having a good rationale and a reason behind these career changes is also important. You cannot just apply for a job at random and say, you know what, because I got a job in sales, let me switch to sales. Or let me try this account management or sales, for example, for a certain amount of time. Some might argue that, Sajid, we would not understand the business completely unless we have worked in different domains. I would disagree here. Yes, working in a couple of domains could be helpful for you down the line throughout your career, but changing domain every year, I don't think so that is going to be very helpful for you, because that way you could be known as an industry expert, but you might not become an expert in a certain functional area, because that is very important for you to understand. And it really depends on your career goals as well. Or you want to be known as a technical guy or a domain expert, then you need to stick to a certain domain. You cannot be changing domain quite frequently. On the contrary, if you want to be into leadership positions from the beginning and you say, you know what, I want to understand the end-to-end business, in that case you are always changing the domains. It is fine, but trust me, down the line you would not be able to say that certain area you are expert in. You could be knowing an overarching domain, an overarching business, which is definitely helpful and beneficial, but it is not something that is making you an expert. You need to consider all those things, and we would be discussing again in further details from certain pros and the cons of these career changes. In this video, I just wanted to explain that what are the different kind of change configurations that are possible, that can be done, and what are the consequences and the rationale we would be discussing in our next video. If you like this video, then I would say stay tuned and see you in the next video.